Harrison, coming into this season, is this the most positive vibe that you've had with this team over the last 3.5 years?
I feel like I'm gonna be a broad record saying this, but it's mostly just about this year, and Andrew's been great. I mean, guys are, I think, enjoying playing on the court together, but more importantly, just spending time. Everyone's getting their work in, motivated. So it's been a good training camp for us.
What what did you make of the talent show last night?
We got some work to do. I think Chima definitely was the most prepared and was the most excited to actually do it. Keon, we still have work to do there. Keegan will get him in there eventually, so we'll get there.
What was the silliest thing you had to do as a rookie?
Man, publicly, I probably just had to sing during the fan fest. It wasn't anything too crazy.
Harrison, speaking of Keegan, what's it been like to have him as a teammate, knowing that you guys are both from Iowa, you guys kind of from the same town? I mean, I know you kind of really maybe taken on his win.
Yeah, no, it's been great. I mean, I'm always happy to see another guy from Iowa, carry the torch, push the game forward, and not a whole lot of us coming from there. So, it's been great, and I think, like I've said before, he's got a super bright future, not only for this team but in this league. So, I'm excited to just be a part of it. Obviously, as the beginning part of his career, and I'll be a fan of his for many years to come.
Overall, anything exceed your expectations from being 2 days away from open up this season, just coming out of preseason?
In terms of,
just with this group, perhaps.
I wouldn't say there's anything necessarily that exceeded my expectations. I'm just more so happy with, like I said, the vibe and the energy that's here. I mean, there's a bounce to people's step. You know what I'm saying? There's a sense of urgency in what they're doing and like purpose and just how people just move around the facility. So I think for me, that's what you want to be a part of.
How are you feeling about where you guys are at defensively? Like, we know how much of a struggle that's been the last couple of years. Are you feeling like you guys are in a better place now?
I mean, we feel good about how we've competed in the games. Obviously, the Phoenix game was a little bit out of character out of the 4 games, but all in all, I think we've taken some positive steps forward. Never want to overreact to preseason results and things like that, but I think we're turning in the right direction.
In that same light, like, how improved specifically does the wing defense feel this year compared to years prior?
I mean, we actually have wings. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's not me and Mo Harkless holding down the fort here. So, it's been good. I think we have just a lot of depth, positions, and obviously, big deal for KZ, Chima, Deli to be added to the group. I think those are guys that just throughout training camp won a lot of teammates over, just in terms of how hard they practice, what they bring to the team, the energy. Obviously you saw some of that yesterday with Chima, but I think all in all we have a lot of depth at each position, and I think guys are just cheering for each other.
Where do you feel like you're at as an individual on the defensive end at this point in your career?
Yeah, no, I feel good. Trying to do whatever is asked of me, come out, execute, and go from there.
Talking about Chima, you've been around the league for a long time. How cool is it to see a guy who's had to go overseas, played at a smaller college, make it and actually get the call on roster cut day?
Grateful. I mean, that's the energy that Chima brings, I think, to this group, is just a sense of he's happy to be here. He doesn't take it for granted. He's had a long road, like you said, and when he's in the building, I mean, you're gonna hear him. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna let you know that he's here, and I think that just gives everyone just perspective. How blessed we are to be in this position, to come here to work every single day, regardless of what's going on. You obviously know there's other things that are going on out there, but he can speak to his experience, overseas and things like that.
You just saw Portland the other night. I know it's probably going to be a different looking Trailblazers team than what you'll see on Wednesday. What do you kind of expect from them, and do you feel like they're going to be kind of one of those teams you're competing with all year long?
Well, I think they're going to be much different than what we saw, in the preseason, right? I mean, we got going a little bit in the game, and they didn't make any adjustments, right? Obviously, their guys are going to be more on edge, and they're going to look at that game and say, that's not the performance that we want on opening night. So, we'll be prepared for that. But in general, I think it comes back to what we do on a every night basis. It's not like we want to look at 2 or 3 teams and say, oh, well, if they're playing good and we got to play to that level, it's like, no, every single night we feel like in this group, we can compete with anybody. So that's our mentality, and that's what we're focused on.
Harrison, you mentioned the wing depth a moment ago. You've been asked to kind of hold down 2 positions the last couple of years here. How much does that added depth, whether it's, take pressure off you or help you relax and just kind of play your own game, how much is that helping you on a personal level?
It's great. I mean, I think when you look at how teams and rosters around the league are going, it's a lot of wing players, right? Not necessarily a traditional five. There's teams obviously like opening night against Nurkic where you're going to have a traditional five, but a lot of nights it's going to be a lot of wings. So just having all the versatility, you know what I'm saying, with Keegan, Trey, Mezzi, KZ, Chima, you know what I mean? And even if you start sliding, whether it's Kevin to the three or maybe TD, whatever it may be, I think that just gives us more options that we can use throughout the season. And, things happen, injuries happen, personal stuff happens, you know what I'm saying? All foul trouble happens, all those type of things. But having that depth, I think, is huge for us.
All right, thank you guys.